What's up, y'all? Welcome back to 3-Star Draw. I'm down south 77, 3-Star Draw, and this here is a G.I. Joe channel. For the most part, we're usually talking about G.I. Joe stuff. Sometimes we'll talk about other stuff. And we are talking about G.I. Joe stuff today. We're talking, of course, about number 172 in the line, Pythona. Now, Pythona was a NYCC exclusive. However, she wasn't just the NYCC exclusive. They made her exclusive for the conventions that are this fall. They've done away with the 1027 event, probably to focus more attention on being able to go to these other conventions, NYCC, the London Con, and then there's one in Singapore. No, Italy. It's in Italy that's coming up pretty soon too. So maybe that's why they decided to do with 1027. I don't know. Who knows? Whoever knows with Hasbro. Either way, I'm excited to get Pythona. She was just dropped off Friday, so I just got her in, just now getting around to getting her opened up. I'm excited to get this figure. I've never had a Pythona. I don't think most of us have ever had a Pythona. I think they only ever made one. Now, somebody I'm sure in the comments will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's only been one, and it was either a convention exclusive or a collector's club exclusive, and I think that's the only time they've made her. Either way, we've never seen her in classified yet, and that is, what I'm collecting, so I'm happy to have her. She's a cool figure. I'm not a big Cobra Law guy, but I've said before, if you kind of consider it like a multiverse kind of thing, you can make it work. I mean, you can actually fit it in pretty well if you set those figures up and play with them and pretend it's worlds without end or something like that. So I am happy to get Pythona in. I'm not real happy about the way that they're promoting this figure. I'm glad people were able to get it and we didn't see the same mess that we've seen in the past, Once a Man Cobra Commander and the like. However, they did kind of do something that I don't agree with Pythona. Yes, they made her available. She's never gone out of stock since that she's gone up for sale. She's been in stock the whole time that I know of. However, only for Pulse Premium members. So in order to get Pythona now, you've got to be a premium member, or you've got to go to one of these conventions where they're going to have her at. I'm not a big fan of that model because it seems like it was really just developed for people to buy a Pulse Premium membership just to make sure they could get this figure, because I think they're kind of using the FOMO fear, the weaponized FOMO, because she's not going to be available for regular members, I don't think, till November 3rd. That's 2 more weeks. And I think they're trying to use the fact that people might be scared she will sell out before they can get her, before the general public can. So I feel like they're using that as an excuse to drive Pulse Premium memberships. I could be wrong. That's just the way I see it. I don't put it past Hasbro to try something like that. Either way, I hope everybody that wants her gets her. Don't pay, inflated prices right now. Surely, if you're not a Pulse Premium member and you need her that bad, you know somebody that is, that can get her for retail and free shipping, and then whatever, ship to you. The other thing I want to mention is the price point. I had to look over here to double check my mathing. $46.99 is what Pythona was. This may be a new exclusive convention, whatever, price point for these figures, because this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is like what Once a Man Cobra Commander was, like what Chuckles was. You get the fancy box, and it's really just kind of a deluxe figure with a fancy box, is the way that I see that. And I guess maybe this is the new price point for that figure. Does she come with enough to warrant $46.99? I don't know. We're going to take a look at that. So I guess I need to take her out of the shipper box. I usually show the box at this part of the video, but I'm going to show the box anyway when we move over here. And anyway, like I said, Nemesis Immortal just delivered her, so I got to get this out. As always, I'm going to take a look at the box here. Still like to do that. I've got some of her fellow G.I. Joe the movie alumni laid out, so she'll feel right at home when we get her out. It's all done in this nice shimmery iridescent finish over the top of this just organic artwork, like organic Cobra Law creature artwork. I like that. I think it's neat. Over here on the side, we do get a nice portrait of her, all decked out, ready to invade the Terradrome number 172. On this side over here, you do get her attributes and everything, another the portrait there again. And we do have our QR code that I actually just checked, and it still goes to right here. This old G.I. Joe splash page that's still got this old image from when the line first launched with the sci-fi looking takes on these guys. So that's where it still goes, and we hadn't checked it for a while. And on the back, nice picture of the figure here. Again, you get all this shimmery iridescent done to it. Just this webbing from Cobra Law, and get some guys back there in the background. I think that's a Cobra Trooper back there. So what it looks like. Hadn't actually looked real close at the artwork on this box. You get a close up on her head and a couple of her, or the little creature that she comes with that she can throw. Get a look at the hood, and so where we see her when she first comes out of the whatever swamp pond thing. And of course, back here you get one of the giant spores, looking suspiciously like a giant Brussels sprout. And that kind of looks like a pepper down there, but I think that's the gem of that size. And there's the box, QR code if you need it, though I don't know why you would. You're not going to find her at Target. And then there is the top of the box, continuing the 172 and the artwork. I don't know what that's supposed to be up there on the 2. I just noticed that little thing up there, and I'm not sure what that is. That's kind of interesting. I mean, this is done like it's a digital glitch on the numbering, but I don't know what that is supposed to be. Oh well, let's get all of her stuff out. Not a terrible amount of work getting her out of the packaging. Minimal tape on this one, but I do want to show you something I almost missed when I was taking her out of the plastic tray. I started pulling her out, and there is one of our favorite little plastic ties that holds the cape in to the back. So you see it here. I started pulling and she wasn't coming out. I was like, oh, what's going on? Flipped it over, and it has one of those ties holding everything in the back. And so I got my little trusty snips and clipped that, and here we are. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff she comes with first, is what we usually do over here. If you are a Cobra Law fan, or you just like creature, monster, whatever kind of figures in general, I think you'll be happy with the accessories. This is a deluxe set, I think. An extra head, extra hair, all of the little creatures, and everything in this set is a new mold. I don't think anything in this has been reused, and it's going to be interesting to see what reuse they do for any of it. They're going to have to continue some of the Cobra Law stuff in order to get any use out of this. So let's go ahead and just start. We do get this giant gem. So, of course, this is the one that she gives to Zartan to retain their services. A gem of all that size answers all of my questions. There's no possible way she's going to be able to hold this thing, but I think in the movie when she handed it to him, she kind of handed it to him open palm like that, I believe. Maybe so. That's the way I remember it. Maybe we'll go back and look. But it's big, big, nice pink jewel. Um, looks like a plastic diamond. I'm glad they included it. You do get the little clam thing here, the little sticky clam, and I believe this is the thing that she opened up to show Serpentor the BET, not the network, the energy transmitter. So I think it's interesting that this actually has a hologram inside of it. But again, this opening clam, nice green, pretty nice sculpt on it. And you open it up, it does kind of look like the inside of a clam. You can see right there. It's kind of got the little sticky bits where it's sticking together when you open that clam up. So I'm glad they included that. That's pretty neat. Um, Then over here, you do get the little thing she threw. I'm calling them fangs because look, I don't know what they're supposed to actually be. They're Cobra Law creatures. So you get this thing's got these tongue ribbons coming out, and it opens up, and I think this wrapped up around somebody. It's got these nice spines here. And what was it? Lenny called this stuff chitin, and made all this stuff's made out of chitin. Um, it's just cool. It's just a neat little creature. And here she's got the little tick turtle crab combos that she throws out and get this nice beak on it. And we've seen a similar beak on Nemesis Immortal's little creature that doubles as an ascot. So a couple of different shades of green on there. Not articulated or anything, but it is pliable. So you could probably get somebody holding this, or somebody like trying to grab it and hold it off their face. Pretty neat looking little thing. Then here she does have her little snake, four snake head. Man, they look more like eels. They look like some kind of crazy eel rather than snakes. But anyway, we see her throw this thing at the guards. Of course, it spreads out and it's got four heads. Just kind of a creepy little nightmare creature. All the Cobra Law is some kind of crazy H.R. Giger nightmare. And this thing I just love. Kind of looks like a bit like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things mixed with something from Alien. This little creature that's got these teeth. If this thing gets a hold of you, dude, if that thing bites your face, it's gonna eat your face off. And I do like it looks like it's got some articulation there. So that's sweet. That's the extra mile. It's kind of like what they did with Once a Man Cobra Commander Snake down here. Just the arms articulate, but you can actually get a little bit of movement out of this thing. Again, some really cool. Well, nice paint on it. See all these teeth. You can see the maw where it's gonna swallow you. A little pink going down the tail. Pretty neat looking little thing. We do get into some hands for extra hands here with horizontal swivel on these hands. See, break free pretty easily. These her outstretched nails, and this is like looks like smoke. I'm trying to remember what this is from. I'm sure it's where she cut through something, maybe the pentaplastic shield, and that smoke coming off where she's cutting through it. Trying to remember exactly where in the movie this is from, but the smoke is done really well. It's got a little bit of shading to it, a little bit of wash on it. Nice, so it's not just white. And then we do have our elongated black nails. Really, it's a well done hand, and of course, it's all made together. This isn't meant to come off. Get a couple of punchy fists for her. Look pretty good. Match her outfit. Her outfit. I like those. Again, you get vertical swivel on these hands, which I think these probably is what you would want. And they're moving pretty freely there. And she does have her Cobra Law snake ninja stars. They're snake ninja stars. It's great. Um, where she throws these and they twirl and spin and do whatever they do when they land on somebody. It's nice translucent pink plastic. And then you have a double headed snake where it's spinning around. So these are actually pretty cool. She's got ranged weapons. You do get another hand with their nails bent as she's swiping. This one, I'm trying to remember exactly where in the movie this is from too, but fingers are all bent. Maybe this is where she cuts through the pentaplastic shield. Maybe this is the one because it does have the green like she's cutting and leaving a trail behind her hand. And it is a right hand, so again, pretty well done. I don't see a couple of little spots in the paint there on it, but nothing, nothing bad. It looks pretty good. Then we do get her extra head sculpt, and this is her snake fanged head. I do like that. And you can see, I hope it'll focus in on that on her fangs that actually looks like they have a little bit of venom dripping from them, a little bit of maybe green venom. That's a nice touch. I mean, she's a snake lady. I imagine she probably does have venom. So, boy, earrings here, little dangly, metallic green looking earrings. Eyes look good, nice reptile eyes on her. These are, trying to see what color these are. They're almost like a silver. I know I had to take it off screen to try to look at it. Getting old and looking at it at a computer monitor don't always work. I get her, I don't know if this is makeup or pigment, but it looks really good. Looks like she's ready to go to a concert in the 80s, maybe like about 83, 84. Getting ready to go rock out, listening to some prog rock or something. Extra hair that I'm guessing is probably interchangeable, but we'll go ahead and stick it in this head sculpt. Pops in there nicely, and it looks kind of the same as the one that's on her. She's just got some hairs out of place, and they are pliable. Looks like this is her attacking hair, kind of splayed out in the back at the bottom of it, about where her shoulders hit, or a little further down. And she knows how to accessorize. She's got her ponytail holder. Yeah, she got that ponytail holder. She's getting ready to go out on a date with Serpentor. Serpentor knows as soon as she showed up and saw that ponytail holder, yeah, it's gonna be a good night. Time to look at the star of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to the stage now is Pythona. I think the main draw to this figure is going to be this soft good capes, and of course the sculpting on this figure, because it is the sculpting and the paint on this figure is really well done. It is approaching something that you would see from Mythic Legions. I'm not saying this is like equivalent paint to a Mythic Legions figure, but it's approaching it. It looks really nice with the sculpting and the shading they've done with it. So let's just go top to bottom. Do get the long ponytail, and it is different from this one. This one's chopped off, short hair. This one probably, I don't know. I don't think this one's gonna fit in the hood. It might. We'll look at that, but that might be the difference. Is so she can have a ponytail on with when the hood is up on her cloak. And let's go ahead and check that hair out now while we're at this point, and we'll put this one on this head sculpt. And not gonna try to put the hood on there yet. I may have to do that off camera. Um, no, no bendy wire, at least in that part of the cape. None in the cape anywhere. So there's one of your differences between there and some Four Horsemen stuff. So let's get a look at this head, and we'll compare it to this one. She does have her earrings, and of course her eyes, her face, her Mike Tyson face tattoo. That's all still the same. It's really just kind of the drawn up mouth with the fangs exposed. I like this one. They're both really nice head sculpts. They both look really nice. This is just relaxed, and then this one is obviously attacking. So I don't see any paint problems at all with this figure. I'm going to go ahead and pop this head off, and I'm going to pull her cloak off for now, which probably seems like a weird way to show it all off, but I think it'll go a lot easier if we show the cloak separately and look at the figure separately. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So we'll just work our way down. I mean, look at the sculpt work on this figure. There was a lot of love that went into this figure. These nice shades of purple and pink, 3-4 shades. Um, there's some wash in there. Split up nicely with the color palette. Really pops. This figure really stands out. Ever since I saw Pythona in the movie, and then when I later saw that movie, I always thought she looked like what the aliens looked like in the movie The Abyss, the underwater aliens. I always thought that shimmery look. I always thought of Pythona from G.I. Joe the movie anytime I watch The Abyss, and I've watched The Abyss a lot. And I know it looks like I keep touching her boobs, but I promise it's not on purpose. Now, I mean, now it probably will be. But let's check out her articulation on her arms. Butterflies. Doesn't get a lot of motion there, but she does have some. You'd probably be able to do a lot of good posing with her because she's got these thin, wispy arms. So all her standard Joe articulation you come to expect. Drop down hips. She does have a thigh swivel, and she does not have a lower swivel on her feet, her like a boot cut, which makes sense because it would break this up and look weird if they did. They kind of have to do it at the thigh, but there's not one down here lower. So let's just make sure knees are good. No issues there. Feet seem really, really tight, like they're not loose. I don't feel like her ankles are going to make her fall over like I do with most of these figures. And let me tell you, I like you guys so much that I moved Nemesis Immortal and brought him over here. That's the first time I've touched that figure since I rearranged my shelves. And the last time I touched that figure was when I put him on the shelf because I like Nemesis Immortal. I think he come out great. I think he looks great. But this guy you breathe on and he falls over is a really poorly made figure. And I think it's funny that some of the more sought after figures in classified are some of the ones that are not very well constructed. Serpentor is not as bad, but he's similar. He has waist issues like Nemesis has. All right, back to Pythona. Just wanted to point that out. I had to pat myself on the back for getting him over here and actually getting him posed a few times because, like, really, he falls over all the time. So back to Pythona here, working our way down the arms after we've looked at the articulation. The paint looks great. I hope the light is kind of catching the sculpt work because all of these little individual lines and stuff you can feel that's not done with paint. When we get down into her wrists again, almost this on her forearm rather, almost looks like this fossilized leaf looking pattern there. If you've ever seen, what a fossilized leaf or a leaf even that just got caught in some concrete when they poured it, kind of that kind of look on this right here. And you don't even see that in many other places. And then you see it a little bit down here on the legs. Same thing over here on this arm. This is such a great looking figure. And then down into her wrists, the hands that come on her vertical vertical swivel, vertical hinge on those. You got the black nails. She does have trigger fingers, so I guess if you wanted her to, she could hold a gun, but probably goes against everything Cobra Law stands for. And then down here, you do have the dark purple in the bikini. I mean, it looks like she's wearing some sexy chaps, is what it looks like. And then you get this nice purple going down like it's the underlying layer. All this is like armor, I'm assuming, and then all of this pinkish color is like, I don't know, I'm gonna call it a bodysuit because that's really what it looks like when you hold the figure out and look at it. It really looks like she's got on a under like a dark pink, lightish purple bodysuit, and then she put on all of her chitin, her organic armor over the top. Or maybe it grew out of her. She is a snake lady from a mystical hidden civilization, so who knows. Going down into the thigh, all the way down into the feet on the shins, wrapping around so you can kind of see how it does. It's hard to describe, so you guys can actually see that it looks like this is all a piece that's formed to her as some kind of armor. Really, really well done figure. Can't really knock this figure at all for the look or the construction. It's a solid feeling figure. She stands pretty well. I mean, it's the first time I've really tried to stand her. She does have the small female feet, so keep that in mind with no ankle or boot cut. For a swivel, you are going to have to kind of get creative when you pose her using the thigh cut and the knees. So I'm pretty impressed with this figure so far. Let's set her up here just a minute. We'll try out the other head sculpt, and we'll try to get this cloak situated. Let's take a look at this thing. I think this is something that a lot of people really were looking forward to with this figure. So I'm just going to try to straighten it up a little bit. So it's really only meant for you to be able to see her eyes through it. And I do think that the hair is probably supposed to go up through it, but we will investigate that in just a minute. So it is a pretty good feeling cape. Um, it's thicker than Serpentor's. It's definitely thicker than his cape. On the inside, you got the nice purple that completely matches the purple of what I'm calling her bodysuit. It is an exact match. So um, I was wondering about that, but I couldn't really tell from the pictures. And it goes down. You do have these tatters in it. I think that looks great. You're going to have to be careful with them, though, because you can see the cuts between these holes, these tatters in the cape. You're not going to want to catch this on anything. It is thicker, I think, than Serpentor's cape. Feels a little thicker to me, but it's still kind of thin, and if you snag these on something, it is gonna tear them. But so inside of it, posed like she's running. This cape really could have benefited from some bendy wire in it, to have it splayed out behind her. I almost said flayed. I don't think that's right. Splayed out behind her as she's running, getting ready to attack some guards or something. And then back here on the back, you get this nice texture to it. It's a leather look, the faux leather. Of course, it could also be some kind of reptile skin, I guess, if you wanted, which I guess technically leather is, but it's just a different type. They probably reuse everything in Cobra law. So I'm gonna pop this off. Let's go ahead and see what she looks like with this head sculpt on, and we'll put the long hair back on this one with it all frizzed out. She's in attack mode. What this figure did need, I appreciate the hands that they gave her, but what this figure desperately needed was a set of hands splayed out like this with her claws out like they are on this one. Why? I get that they gave her punchy fist because she does do some punching, and she needs her grippy trigger finger fists, but I would have probably liked to see them instead of the gem do another set of hands because she really needed some claws out hands. I feel like you can get by with everything else that she's got. I mean, it looks great, but I really think they kind of missed the mark by not including a set of those. Now, I'm going to try to get this ponytail in the back of this cloak, running up through this cloak here. We'll see how this works. I may wind up having to take this off camera. All right, well, I was wrong. So you cannot get the hair in there. I thought the short one was going to go, but it's just bent too much. This hood for her cloak, and I probably called it a cape. It's a cloak. There's no armholes in it, which is nice because it just fits over her and you can just kind of drape it over her and wrap it around her. Again, bendy wire would have been great with this, but you can see this already the way it's made. It's pre-bent, and the angle on the hair is too extreme, so it's just not gonna go. You can get it on, but it sets up somewhere about like that. At least it did for me. You couldn't pull it down enough and stuff this in there because it comes into a point in the back to get it down on her face enough. And if you force it, you're gonna rip some of this stitching somewhere. So the cloak is just meant
to kind of sit over the top of her and kind of pull it down and kind of finesse it around, because all you could really see in the movie at first was her eyes. So you have to kind of move it around and you can get pretty close to that. So that's as much as I'm going to fool with it here for this. And then the hood does lay back, as we saw, where it lays down, and then you can have either look on her attacking face or whatever. Put this head sculpt on her, which it's going to cover her teeth, but so when she was running through the Terradrome, she probably was making this face, but we saw the cloak around her until she got to Serpentor. So now we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at some of her accessories that she comes with. Went ahead and put this long ponytail in, and actually will kind of compress her hood on her cloak and hold that down so it's not all pokey standing up. I did go ahead and put on both of her action hands. She does have one for each hand, so the right hand is the cutting hand, like she's swiping cutting. So she's swiping to the left, back, and to the left. And then her left hand is the one that has the whatever that's supposed to be, the smoke or the chitin coming off of it. It could really go either way. Not sure. I'm going to have to go back and skip through the movie to try to find out exactly what this is from, because all of this stuff is too on the nose to not be directly from the movie. I just don't remember it. So either way, she looks good using either one of those hands to get through barriers. Got her punching fists on there like she's getting ready to maybe do some Muay Thai, getting ready to fight Jinx here. And poor Jinx is, she ought to take that blindfold off, because she's not even looking in the right direction. She's about to get clawed. Scared of the claw. Now here I've got her getting ready to chuck her double ender snakes at somebody, throwing them at the guards as she's going flying through the Terradrome or wherever. Now, note on her hands, on her trigger finger, action hands, whatever, uh, her hands are very pliable, which is a good thing. So you can actually get a good grip on these little discs with these snakes, with that trigger finger being flexible enough to splay out there, so you can actually see that she can get a good grip on these things to actually get it into a position like she's about to throw it like a frisbee. I thought that was really cool. Pretzel's in the other room barking. He liked it too. And here I got a shot over throwing her alien face hugger monster, tooth monster at somebody. So it's actually meant for her to hold it so you can get it in this very position. It's curved, and the way her hands are made fits in there perfectly. And you don't really have any trouble balancing this figure. It didn't take me very long to get her in that pose with the tip of the left foot barely touching. She balances really well, so I was glad to see that. This one was a little bit trickier. This is her, I don't know, I'm trying to show it to my mic over here. This is the one, this kind of looks like Audra from Little Shop of Horrors. So this one was a little trickier getting in her hand, because you do have to stretch the hand and the thumb out, but she will hold it, and it stays in there pretty good. But this one was a little trickier to get in, but fool around with it and you can get some good shots. I think like she's getting ready to throw this, but again, because her hand is so pliable, you're able to bend it and get that grippy motion on it. Some of these figures that we've been getting lately, you would never get this in actually into their hand like they're throwing it, because their fingers are that really hard plastic and it puts too much stress on it. Didn't really do that at all here, but while I was working with that, so some of the paint did kind of come off of her hand. I don't know if you can see it there, but I mean, that's I guess to be expected. I mean, her hands are painted white, so it's probably going to happen once in a while. This one here is a little bit trickier. Here she's got her clam, and it's a little bit harder to get in her hand because it's so wide. This clam's pretty wide, so you actually kind of have to take and to get her to hold it. She kind of only holds it with her thumb and her forefinger there with it resting on her hands. So she's actually kind of got to put a finger in the clam for you to get a good look at her holding it. I mean, this thing's it's a good accessory. It's sculpted really nice. I mean, it's opening on its own, but it's kind of hard for her to get her hands on it. So I do wish that maybe there was like a little handle or something in the back. But I mean, here's she's trying to show it to Serpentor, and I mean, he seems to like it. I mean, she's showing him the BET. He's seeing all the energy that there is inside that clam. So I don't know. He seems to like it okay, but it looks really nice though. It is a nice looking clam. And then finally we have this little creature here. I still don't know what this thing is. It's like a mutated snapping turtle. So I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of little parasite that she gives to people or throws at people or tricks them into, you know, getting. But she can kind of hold it. It's just at an awkward angle. So she's gonna have to do this like she's bowling and kind of getting ready to throw this thing at somebody. And I guess you could flip it over and have her holding it, from the top like that. But she can hold it. So all of her accessories, she can hold and she can use. Really, all of them except for one. And that, of course, is the gem, the gem of this size that answers all of Zartan's problems. There is no way for her to hold this, so you kind of have to angle her arms in toward her chest and kind of balance it with her hands and the cloak. And honestly, that's probably her cleavage that the other point's resting on in there. I didn't do that on purpose, I promise. So you can get it like halfway believable. If you got some forceps or something and you want to try to work the cloak around. So you actually probably can get some good shots of it, like she's taking it out of the cloak and presenting it to Zartan, but trying to get it, her arms outstretched and holding it, it's not enough of a point to really fit in there. You probably can do it if you want to sit there and try to do the balancing act of getting this little point and these slick sides on her hands. It can probably be done. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm saying that I'm not going to do it. We looked at her double-ended snake. We looked at the clam. We looked at her snake weapon thing. Actually, did we look at that? We didn't look at that. Let's do that right now. I was thinking there was something I left out. So this is meant to wrap around like she's throwing it, kind of like that coil Baroness. I was thinking while I was looking at all her stuff that there was something that I forgot, and it was this. Uh, it's meant to go this way. I'm not exactly getting it in there right, so we got to get it around her hand. There we go. So we got it wrapped around her hand. I'm sorry, you guys, we missed this one. So that's how that one looks. You can actually get it splayed out like she's throwing it. No problem at all with it going around her arm like it's supposed to. So I really do like this one. So now we're ready to give her some kind of a rating. So we've seen all of this. We've seen her gem, seen the little tick turtle thing. We've seen this. We've looked at everything. Um, I do really like this figure. There's not much to dislike with Pythona, even if you're not a big Cobra Law fan. If you've got any other fantasy stuff, um, this will fit right in with it. Any Mythic Legions, anything this will scale with will be really nice next to it. I love this set. The Cobra Law stuff is a great idea for an exclusive because not everybody wants it. So not everybody has to get it unless you're a completionist. Then you need that number on the box. Python is 4.75 for me, y'all. There's not really, I can't find anything to dislike other than not coming with splayed claw hands and not being able to fit the hair in the cloak. But I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. The claw hands was kind of a miss, but everything else that she comes with, you can pretty much get the point across that you could do with the claw hands. I mean, you could use either of her action hands here to do it. So that's what I think. Did you guys pick her up? Are you gonna pick her up? She's still in stock. Are you waiting for Pulse to be to release it to general public, which they should have already done by now? Let me know down in the comments. Guys, if you like this review, hit that thumbs up, that like, that share, that subscribe, all of that good stuff. Just bring it on, and I will see you guys next time on 3-Star Draw.
Intruder alert! Sector 45A! Battle stations! I have seen you before. In a dream. A vision.
In a memory, great Serpentor. I am part of your destiny. When you were created, my face was etched into your soul. I am Pythona, and now it is time for you to fulfill your destiny.